This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
Hello, and before we get started with this episode of Cooking with Grief, we've got to quickly shill you some products, as we've long wanted to, but now someone's finally going to give us money to do it. Just out of interest, we've been friends a long time. How hairy are your balls?
Oh, it's an absolute nightmare, mate.
Oh.
A thick, luscious carpet. It's like a shampoo advert down there.
I hate you. I hate this. And yet, it is also a perfect segue into our lovely, glorious sponsors, Manscaped.com. Now, if you go there and use the promo code BIGHEADS, you'll get 20% off and free shipping. And you might be wondering what Manscaped sells because you haven't taken into account the last 50 seconds of this conversation. And I will tell you that they sell grooming products for below the belt. So, for example, Chris, you'll be, from the sounds of it, very interested to learn about the Lawnmower 2.0.
I am. Tell me more.
Twice as good as the previous lawnmower, with skin-safe technology to protect your wrinkly ballsack from getting nicked. Specifically yours.
Good. I'm glad.
And after you've done that with your new smooth nads, you douse them in some crop preserver anti-chafing ball deodorant.
You know what? I might do that.
And if you want to do that, dear listener, then remember, use the promo code BIGHEADS, that's BIGHEADS, all one word, for 20% off and free shipping if you go to manscaped.com. So remember, BIGHEADS, 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com.
Chris and I thank you, and your balls will also thank you.
And our balls thank you too.
On with the show. Ho ho ho, and Merry Christmas from Cooking with Grief. Play your cards right and we'll nog your egg, pull your cracker and smooch you under the mistletoe, displease us and you'll be the last sprout left for the dog. I'm Chris, all year round goth Santa lookalike, and as ever on this festive foray into spurious stories, I'm joined by my co-host, my massive bauble, the Donna to my Blitzen, it's Chris.
Oh, I am not a goth Santa, but hi. I'll do. How are you, Chris?
I'm good, thanks. Are you feeling... It is now, we're recording this actually in December. So are you feeling suitably festive?
I am. It's frosty outside. The Christmas lights are out. Not in my flat because I'm a Grinch and I don't have any. Or a Christmas tree.
Because you live alone, it'd be weird. We're into that peak, start of December, we've had Christmas stuff up for a while. We're sort of looking down the barrel of another 4 weeks of it.
Oh, you work in a shop. Are you sick of Christmas tunes yet?
Absolutely. We've had them on since... Well, we're Christmas stocking since about September. And the Christmas songs I don't mind too much. It's the Slade one,
Oh.
Just staring down the barrel of that for the next month is just...
Oh, when I used to work in the shop, it wasn't just the fact that we had Christmas songs on repeat for a month or two. It was the fact that they were royalty-friendly cover versions of such famous Christmas songs.
You get the fucking Zootons to have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Not the Zootons.
Oh, not even that.
No, the unknown,
the manager's
session
son.
singer. Yeah.
So here's how the podcast works. Each of us two Chris's have found two shiny topics to talk about. Anything from the worlds of art, science or history to share with each other and you, the lovely listener. But this week, as December demands, our topics are tinsel wrapped, bebowed, and stuck under the tree to be squeezed until the big day itself. I mean, they're about Christmas, is what I'm saying. So without any further conversational fluffing, Chris, what's your first tenuously festive topic for us?
Okay, Chris, so, as you mentioned, it's Christmas time. When you think of Christmas time, what type of things in England do you associate with this festive period?
Ironically, German markets.
Fair enough.
Chinese plastic toys.
Anything more traditional?
Terry's chocolate orange.
Okay, well, none of those things.
No, can I keep guessing? And then I finally get it, and you go, correct. End of the topic.
Yeah, you can do.
No, press ahead.
Okay, well, I thought, because I assumed you were a normal human being.
What? And sorry, I know you were trying to get to your topic, but on the basis of A, our lifelong friendship, and B, the last 34 episodes of this, would you lead you to that assumption?
Yeah, that's fair. But I thought you were going to say things such as mince pies, maybe? No? Okay.
Yeah, okay, no, I've heard of them.
Decorations, Christmas
trees.
trees.
Yeah, they're one of the big ones.
Yeah, maybe even going to church. Oh, because it is. And then I was going to, if you'd followed the setup in any sort of way how this double act is supposed to work, I would have said, well, you'd be surprised to know that in England in the 17th century, all those things were banned.
Oh.
But you wouldn't care because Terry's chocolate orange isn't affected.
Well, I'm sure.
Well, okay, it existed.
No, but had it been around in the 17th century, it would have been banned.
Yes, I think it would have.
For being ungodly.
Well, yeah. Basically, what happened is, quick history lesson. England had a civil war, got rid of the king. Oliver Cromwell took over as Lord Protector, and he was basically a boring bastard and Puritan who thought that fun should be outlawed, specifically Christmas fun. So they put in the parliamentary decree that December the 25th was to be treated just like any other working day, because the Bible doesn't actually suggest that you should celebrate Christmas as far as they were concerned, and they thought it was all a bit too pagan and Catholic-y, which are their two least favourite things.
Yeah.
And in short term, it basically meant that, as mentioned, all those things were banned. They even had soldiers turn up to churches at gunpoint, shoo the congregation out.
Oh.
But obviously the problem is people don't like that. You can take away just about everything from Englishmen, but you take away his right to get jolly and you're in trouble.
I mean, yeah, it is a bad PR move, if nothing else.
Yes, exactly. Even caused riots. Riots in London, Norwich, Canterbury, where they actually set the town on fire because they wanted to celebrate Christmas.
Now, I say this in zero defence of Oliver Cromwell and all the horrendous crimes he committed. Would you want just 1 year that we all agreed to take a year off Christmas? We still got the time off.
Yeah, okay, I'm in.
But just none of the faff around it. You don't have to go and see your family. You don't have to buy presents. You don't have all the adverts. Just 1 year.
Maybe. Yeah, I could do that. What's interesting as well is, you know how football hooligans are often blamed for riots and that type of stuff. This Canterbury riot, apparently it was all kicking off and then they brought some footballs with them and then that actually made it worse. So even then they were like, oh, bloody football fans.
So when people talk about going back to the good old days, we've got the good old days. We've got people, angry about Christmas and football riots.
Exactly. So yeah, and then basically when Charles II was back on the throne, and because we seem to be one of the few countries that had a civil war, got rid of the monarchy, and then went, can we have it back, please? It turns out it wasn't as fun as we thought. They banned Christmas, and then people got upset that it was too Christmassy.
We're never fucking happy, are we?
Yeah.
Well, she said, this is a bit much.
Exactly. And apparently it basically didn't get back to how it was until Victorian times, pretty much. Yeah.
So do you know what was too Christmassy? Was it like...
I think people just thought it was...
the bards playing Christmas songs for 4 months a year. Exactly.
The mistaken jollity of the court for the true joy that shall and ought to be on these days. Apparently, too much plays, gaming, and merriment, and and people weren't taking. Here's the best one. People laughed in the chapel when the bishop was giving his sermon, and everyone's just, you shouldn't enjoy worshipping the Lord. You should hate every moment of it. That's the only way to be happy.
Yeah. It's very much the white church versus the black church. There's zero merriment in an English church.
Yep, exactly.
It's cold, drafty.
Which is all of England.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. We are a drafty country. Especially at zoos.
Oh, God. Oh, that took me a sec. Oh, boo. Boo.
What a blissful second that was.
Just going back to enforcing this lack of Christmas, they'd even if you had food for Christmas dinner, they'd confiscate it.
Well, even if it was just like a sandwich or something.
No, if it was anything that seemed to be Christmas, Christmassy type food. I mean, they didn't even have turkeys then, I don't think. Oh no, they would have found America. Mm-hmm. They might have had turkeys, but yeah, if you had maybe a whole chicken, you were roasting the chicken or something like that, or, like I say, making a mince pie or anything like that, they were like, nope, they will confiscate it.
If you just happen to be having chicken, you're like, oh no, is that a Christmas chicken? No, it's just a regular chicken. Is that a festive casserole? No, it's just a regular casserole.
It was like nut roast. Nobody likes nut roast.
Liar. No, I'm actually a big fan of sprouts.
Liar. Actually, some people are.
Yeah, they're fine. I think it's because a lot of English cooking, like particularly if, I don't know.
It's because they boil it to it in
that's
the
it.
life.
It's the same reason why turkey's like served just like fucking dry as hell. It's like, no, if you just cook it properly, it's juicy and lovely, but...
We do like to boil all our veg till it's...
Just all our food. Just
yeah.
Boiled ham with boiled sprouts. Great, thank you. This is pleasant.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get sprouts and wrap them in bacon and then cook them in animal fat, delicious.
I feel like the bacon's doing most of the heavy lifting there.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Well, my family have turned vegetarian.
Ugh.
So I'm just going to have my own chicken breast or something. I could have a whole chicken to myself, but it seems a bit gluttonous.
Well, it's the season for it.
Just the season.
See, my nan always used to do turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And always just baked it fucking dry. So after she passed, and we all sort of did the cooking. We decided to preserve her legacy, would move on to lamb, because turkey was her thing.
Okay.
So instead, out of respect for her, would have the obviously superior lamb.
Lamb of God. You're eating Jesus on his birthday.
It's what he would have wanted.
To be fair, he does like giving people stuff and saying, "This is me, eat it."
I'd love if that was word for word in the Bible.
Eat it.
It's my fucking leg. Dude, I want to watch you eat it. Jesus, this is weird. So for my first topic, I'll ask you a question, as I always do. Chris, what hides in the bakery at Christmas?
Mice. You.
A mince pie.
What?
A mince spy.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
Well done. You should write cracker jokes.
Could you, just for the edit, could you groan at that joke? You're right to groan. That was voted the worst joke in the UK for Christmas crackers. I assume Christmas crackers are an international thing. Like, you get a thing, you pull them in it, there's a joke inside.
Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I have no idea.
But did you know that Christmas jokes are intentionally meant to be bad? Because Christmas is such a divisive time of year and stressful with all the presents and family and whatnot. And according to Professor Richard Wiseman, author of Laugh Lab, the scientific quest for the world's funniest joke, all the stressful jobs around Christmas, like all the sort of little jobs that add up to a more stressful whole, are called micro-hassles, which is also the result of having a mischievous pet bird. But
right.
But a bad joke unites the whole family against the quality of the joke, not the person who told it. If you've got a joke that some people find funny and some people don't, then it's by its nature exclusionary, while a bad joke is universally disdained.
Do we really need to have an enemy for jokes? Not
an enemy.
We need to unite against the joke. It's the only way humans can be happy is if we have a shared enemy to attack.
But
in this case, humour.
But the difference is if they played an episode of Cooking with Grief at the family table, in which case it's still the case that everyone will be united against it. But maybe one person would find it mildly amusing, and everyone else would be like, "Stop ruining Christmas."
Our goal is to make one person somewhere in the world go,
"That's not us."
Yeah.
The funniest joke voted in this same poll was, what do you get if you cross Santa with a duck?
I don't know, Chris. What do you get if you cross Santa with a duck?
A Christmas quacker.
Boo. That's worse than the first one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that's so that's the level.
I get what you mean now, though, because now we're like having disdain for
Like,
people
who
who found
fucking wrote that?
Well, no, for the people who found it funny. Like, who the hell voted
that's
for
what I mean.
the Inspires, the worst one? And
There you go. So
there we go.
Proof my point. So we do need an enemy. We've got nothing but the mutual hatred of bad jokes, despite the previous episodes. So I came up with some alternate jokes for the listener if you want to use them around the dinner table. What do you call it when you ceaselessly mock someone with jizz on their tits near an exposed flame?
I don't think that's making it into a Christmas cracker, I'll be honest. But anyway, go on. Grandma, read this one out.
Roasting chestnuts on an open fire.
Oh.
Arguably a better joke. Maybe not necessarily. It's too wordy for a cracker.
Oh yeah, that's the reason. It's too wordy.
Yeah, not the phrase jizz on the tits.
Yeah, just cut out a few words, it'll be fine.
With sputum on the decolletage.
Oh, go on.
Anyway, what does Santa do on the day after Christmas?
I don't know, Chris. What does Santa do on the day after Christmas?
None of your business, but hopefully relax. It's important to look after your mental health during the holidays. What does Santa have in common with Terry Wogan?
Go on.
They both have beards, except Terry Wogan.
And considering that most of our listeners are based in America, they're going to be like, who the fuck is Terry Wogan? Does he or does he not have a beard? I mean, he's dead for starters. so
he probably doesn't have a beard now, even if he did in life, which he didn't. Which is the premise of the joke. Alright then, so what does Santa have in common with Quentin Tarantino?
I don't know, Chris. What does Santa have in common with Quentin Tarantino?
They both have beards, except Quentin Tarantino.
What about Terry Wogan, Chris? Does he have a
Shut up, he's dead. There you go. That's an alternate take for our international listeners. And finally, what do you do with your presents before you open them?
I don't know, Chris. What do we do with our presents before we open them?
You give them a Kurt Russell.
And we're back.
Are we? I just put that one in for you in case we're getting bored.
Last year there was that Christmas Santa. Kurt Russell as Santa Christmas film.
Mm-hmm.
And who was it? Somebody sent me a link and it was like the 5 sexiest moments from Kurt Russell.
That was me.
Oh, was it?
In preparation for this, I was trying to find, because it was like a Christmas story or whatever, or some Netflix film that Kurt Russell was in. So I was trying to find a topic about that. Turns out it's just a fairly straightforward Christmas film. But yeah, I did come across, so to speak, I did find an article, the 5 sexiest moments in Kurt Russell's Christmas film.
Exactly. People getting thirsty for Santa.
I was surprised because, the classic Santa is rotund. He's basically a Christmas pudding in a red velvet suit. Not red velvet, that's a bit sexy. What's Santa's suit made out of?
Oh, it's velvet.
Also not red velvet like the cake either. It's neither a cakey nor a sort of shimmery, shiny. Just like a wool, whatever.
That'll do. Some sort of blend.
Yeah. But no, Kurt Russell's Santa, to give my sort of cinematic appraisal, he's pretty lean, pretty
dashing.
Pretty dashing.
Yeah.
Salt and pepper beard.
There you go. Kurt Russell's dulcet tones.
Yeah.
Doesn't pull out a machine gun at any point though, disappointingly.
Not in the, like...
Netflix edit.
No.
There's a director's cut.
Yeah, and the love interest is played by Goldie Hawn. I don't know.
That's his real life.
Yeah. So
a
lot of on-screen chemistry.
You'd hope so.
Yes. Okay, so that's the end of my first topic. Chris, what have you got for your second?
Right, well, back on the theme of Christmas traditions, to take you to... Well, that sounds like I'm actually going to take you on. I was going to say I want to take you to Norway, and it sounds like I actually...
Always wanted to go. Thanks very much.
Well, I want to tell you about a peculiar Christmas tradition from Norway. I mean, obviously, Norway feels quite Christmassy anyway. I mean, obviously, it's snowy, there's reindeers, there's fjords.
Classic Christmas fjord.
Yeah. But they have a very weird one where on Christmas Eve, Norwegians hide all the brooms in the house.
Specifically brooms.
Specifically brooms. I don't know if vacuum cleaners are...
Yeah, it hasn't moved with the times.
Yeah.
Oh, we must hide the Dyson.
I don't know if that's an authentic Norwegian accent.
Probably not.
Hoody the goody.
No, it's essentially the Muppet Chef.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's Swedish, you faces.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Alright,
It's completely different languages. I don't know. I have no idea. Hoody the goody.
Who the brooms? So why do they hide the brooms? The broom.
Well, apparently, because it's dark during December, that's obviously when witches are going to be doing most of their mischief. And
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
yeah, so the idea is you hide all the brooms, and then the witches can't get around. I don't know what happens if the witch already owns a broom.
Yeah, surely that's like day one, like a witch like class in D&D. Their starting equipment would be a broom, a familiar,
And a hat.
and a pointy hat.
Pointy hat. Maybe a cauldron.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long-held belief. I don't know how hard you have to hide it as well, because it said, like, people, hide them away in cupboards and stuff. But if I was looking for a broom, that'd be the first place I'd look.
Surely that's where the broom lives.
Yeah. like, I don't know. Like, how do you bury it?
Do you pulp it
Yeah.
and then reassemble it in the new year?
It's probably quite difficult.
Broom sales through the roof in the January sales.
So, apparently, witches steal brooms rather than owning their own, I guess, is the entire crux of this tradition.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose brooms are going to be the most expensive just before Halloween.
Yeah.
So maybe they steal them in December, hoard them for the year, not having to fork out for premium brooms for the amateurs.
So basically like Black Friday sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get yourself. But yeah, that's not the weirdest Christmas tradition around the world that I found, though. The strange.
Is it in Sweden? They go into Norway and steal a load of brooms?
Oh, man, I wish. In Venezuela, which is obviously in South America, obviously it's going to be not Norway snowy. There aren't any fjords. So there's no snow or whatever during that time of year.
Mm-hmm.
So what the locals in the capital of Caracas do is you roller skate to church on Christmas Day.
God, they managed to find a way to do everything with just a bit more colour and flair, don't they?
And apparently...
Just in roller skates, or are they allowed to be clothed?
I think they wear clothes.
Okay.
There's a picture here of people dressed as Santa outfits.
In the velvet suits.
In the velvet suits, looking sexy. Even weirder, I don't know how practical this is. If it's one of those traditions that nobody ever actually does.
Mm.
Children go to bed with a piece of string tied around their toe and the other end of the string hanging out the window. Skaters roll past, give the string a tug, and the children know that it's time to get their skates on. That's a direct quote from the Metro, by the way.
Okay, well done, Metro, for fine wordplay. Or they get dislocated toes. If you're going past at some speed and just...
Yeah. Streets are closed until 8 a.m. so that families can skate to church without any danger. There's firecrackers going off as well as church bells.
Yeah, just to put a few obstacles in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
You may, I may not be able to answer.
So, the Norwegian one,
Mm-hmm.
broom's been around for a long time. You can see why that is a long-standing tradition. How recent is the roller skate as an invention?
Yeah, I assume fairly recent. They seem like quite an 80s invention. They might be a bit earlier, but they seem very like roller...
70s maybe, so like Bee Gees. Yeah. Because I'm guessing this is an idea jumped up by a roller skate executive, rather than something passed down from generation to generation, Yeah.
Because they have to take them off once they get into church. Or just...
Yeah. Because in this...
I also don't know how hilly Caracas is.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you got to skate uphill to get to church, that I imagine would be a right nightmare.
Yeah.
Downhill's just dangerous.
Yeah, you want a nice flat Caracas.
Yeah.
Because in this country on Christmas Day,
Christmas Caracas.
You should work for the Metro. That's good. In this country, the news on Christmas Day is dominated by footage of the royals going to church.
Oh, yeah.
And inexplicably Americans standing outside for days to watch posh people go to church. But the footage would be better if we stuck the Queen on a roller skate and just sort of...
A horse-drawn roller skate.
yeah. Ah! World's weirdest chariot.
Slow down, this is mental.
This is absolutely correct.
Yeah, no, it makes our tradition of just not getting up quite dull.
Yeah.
It's Christmas, what should we do? Stay in
Lying.
bed. Stay in bed a couple of hours.
If, you can just introduce a new Christmas tradition into society, the one thing that everyone does, what Christmas tradition would you like to see?
I mean, there's a lot of pressure here. I'm literally going to change society.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there would be something different to eat on Christmas Day. Just because it's got a bit when I say it's a roast dinner, it's basically a Sunday roast, but slightly fancier.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what would you have? Christmas pizza?
Yeah, I was going to say, Christmas, I don't know, like Christmas burritos or something.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, just fix it up a bit.
Still have the same amount of booze. And then or a nice Christmas kebab.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
everyone gets rat-arsed.
Yeah, there's a Christmas kebab.
Yeah.
Well, what would you have?
I don't know, I always ask you these questions and then sit back watching your answer and then never assume you're going to ask me the same. I don't know.
No, good answer.
I should work for the Metro. There's an Icelandic Christmas tradition where Christmas Eve you give each other books and then spend the evening reading.
Oh, that's good. So you don't have to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And you curl up with a book, which is
Much
what
better.
I do of an evening anyway.
Mm.
But now it's just mandated.
Yes, exactly.
So I do that, but for Christmas Day itself. You come down in the morning, everyone gets one book, everyone retreats to their separate rooms.
Doesn't talk to each other the rest of the day.
Bliss.
Okay, and on that note, Chris, what is your final Christmas present to gift us all?
Ho, ho, ho. For my second topic, I'll start with a question, as I always do, but especially at this giving time of year. Chris, you've described yourself as a reluctant Grinch type who secretly does quite like it.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas, I mean. Is there a part of you that thinks it's a shame Christmas has become so commercialised?
Yeah. Especially because, like you say, some shops start in summer doing the Christmas things, and it's all about, a lot of the time it's not how personal is the present you're getting, but how expensive it is, or whatever. And it all seems a bit,
Yeah, and it's
a bit,
this sort of... And I think it used to be that people would sort of buy all this stuff at Christmas, but that was the only time they'd sort of splurge. Now we've got Black Friday deals, we've got fucking Amazon deals every other week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this constant grind of capitalism.
Yes. I will say on that note, though, my controversial opinion, which I've been sharing on Twitter.
At Cooking with Grief. No GM cooking.
Exactly. John Lewis adverts, on average, Christmas adverts, aren't as good as the Sainsbury's Christmas adverts. And that is a hill I'm willing to die on.
What a pointless hill.
Just saying, because everyone goes mad over the John Lewis advert. It's like an event, isn't it? As you say, capitalism has taken over. The release of the John Lewis advert is an event. Nobody talks about the Sainsbury's advert. It's consistently better, in my opinion.
I literally don't have an opinion about that.
Well, you work in retail for their competitors, so maybe you should have an opinion on that, Chris. Maybe you should.
It's because I have heard so many shite. Thank you for employing me. Well, one country that you might not associate particularly with Christmas, China, is having a bit of an ongoing problem balancing the commercialisation of Christmas and traditional Chinese celebrations.
I assume they also have some issues balancing the needs of capitalism with their stated communist values.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a balancing that they're long used to.
Yeah, well, it's a weird thing where politically it's communist, but commercially it's capitalist, and it's that balance when the Communist Party is laying down doctrines, for like society, but it's always a clash. And they've also had a problem balancing sort of Chinese, like traditional Chinese stuff with like Western imported celebrations at all. And in the past couple of years, they've been definitely trying to scale back how actively they engage in Christmas, or let people engage in Christmas. So in Hebei province, in the city of Langfang, city officials ordered all Christmas decorations to be cleared out and forbade shops from selling Christmas-themed goods.
Sounds like Oliver Cromwell's back.
Well, that's the thing, is, as we said, it's hardly a good PR move to just take Christmas away. It's one thing to, like, discuss the careful negotiation between traditional like beliefs and newfangled things, but just to go burn it. In Changsha, in Hunan province, the Education Bureau issued directives for schools to not celebrate Western festivals, including putting up decorations or exchanging gifts. Now, like, just giving each other presents isn't necessarily Western, but it's still like a weird thing to go, right, nope, just none of it. And it made me think of, like, France is very committed to not letting too many English words and phrases into, like, the official language. So they're very, like, all about maintaining the purity of the French language.
But weirdly, less so than the Quebecois?
Quebecois, yeah. Like the French-Canadian language.
They really hate French, English words. Like, to the point where hot dog in French, le hot dog. In Quebec, le chien chaud. They actually literally translate hot dog. And KFC isn't called KFC in Quebec. It's called like poulet de, like, Kentucky frites or whatever, I don't know. So they
they go out of their way to. Yeah. It's not like German where they like make a compound noun, but like just saying phrases, you know.
But yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, well, it just reminded me of that sort of, because Western culture as a sort of, as an entity is already a sort of amalgamation of so many different cultures that we apply as a standard. It's just weird that it's weird to have that sort of, have to make such clear divides between, like, this is a Chinese festival, good, Western festival, bad. It was, when I lived there, it was less, I think it was more of a curiosity, and they tried, so they decorated the foreign campus where we were staying, and, like, you've got to give them, like, A for effort, but they just sort of, like, I don't know, must have just Googled just, like, Western stuff, so you'd have, like, the Easter Bunny with a speech bubble that says, like, Happy Christmas, and it's like, you tried, really tried, but you're not quite getting it right.
I wonder if they think that about our Chinese New Year festival, so they're just like,
swing and a miss.
Like, I see the dragons, but
but why are you having spring roll and chips? Like, what are you doing? This sort of pushback against Western festivals is happening amongst a wider crackdown on Christianity in general in China. There were police raids of Bible studies in Guangzhou, they shut down the Early Rain Covenant Church in Chengdu. They arrested 100 members, and in Beijing, the largest underground church, the Zion Church, was shut down. Because it's weird that Chinese people are allowed to practice Catholicism or Protestantism.
It's so hard to say, isn't it?
Yeah, Protestantism, is that right?
Protestantism? No, that's not right.
Prostateness? No. Yeah. But it's banned.
Constantinople.
So they're allowed to practice Christianity, let's say, but it's banned outside of officially sanctioned institutions. It's like, so this is your church, you're allowed to do it, but outside of that. And it's all about interpreting a directive from the Communist Party to promote traditional Chinese culture, because the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, is officially atheist and encourages the abandonment of religious attachments. And without the crackdown of personal liberties, I'm quite in favour of it. Not to be a Grinch about it, but like...
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
No. Isn't China... So presumably then China is traditionally Buddhist or something prior to... I know obviously it's massive, so I assume there's quite a range.
Yeah, so I think cultural Buddhism, but like the official government line.
I meant like pre-communism.
Oh, right, yeah.
Would it have been? So...
Yeah, Buddhist or Taoist.
Okay. And then, obviously, Christianity rocks up, like, hey, you should worship this. What if we don't? We'll shoot you.
Well, yeah, I mean, because the sort of access came through the Silk Road, so there was the spread of Islam and Christianity in the sort of northwest. Mm-hmm. And now you've got stories of, so the Uyghur people are...
Oh, yeah, the Muslims. And
the Chinese Muslims being rounded up and put in I think what they're basically calling like re-education camps.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a happy, light-hearted Christmas topic, but I didn't want to like not mention that stuff and present it as China's like fun relationship with religion.
Yeah,
without like actually addressing.
Yes, this has been your Christmas message from Cooking with Grief. Sometimes people are dicks. Merry Christmas, one and all. Oh, I love Christmas.
Yeah, me too, actually. Well, jingle my bells.
I don't want to.
Do it. I'll try eventually. Wank my shaft. So, well, jingle my bells. That brings us to the end of this year's Cooking with Grief Christmas Special 2019. Now we've stuffed our faces with food. Maybe we can endure the increasingly drunk and xenophobic ramblings of our uncles, which is my way of saying thank you for listening and goodbye. I've been Chris.
I have also been Chris.
And we hope, no matter what you get up to over the holidays, may it be restful and joyful, and we'll see you in the
2020. I am not ready for 2020. I keep freaking out about this. Like, when people say the 20s, you think Gatsby,
90, Roaring
20s,
Great Depression.
Exactly. It's going to be now. When people say, oh yeah, it's the 20s, they're literally going to mean, like, now. I'm not ready for it. Like, the 2020s is supposed to be the future. Like, flying cars, robots. Nah, I'm not having it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It does fill me with a sort of inescapable dread.
Yeah.
No matter number of territorial colonies can assuage, but by God, I'll try to eat them whole. Whoa! On a slightly sincere note, all year round we're presented with this idyllic view of Christmas time as, when friends and family come together and it's all joyful and merry. But that might not be the case for you. So if Christmas is a shitty time, then, we hope you're all right and you do something that you
cheers
enjoy.
You up.
Yeah.
And we'll be here in the new year in 2020, which I'm not ready for. For more weird facts, wonderful sidetracks,
and an inevitable slide into dick jokes.
Yes, exactly.
When our ability to, amass content fails us.
Exactly.
And that's a promise you can take to the piggy bank.
So yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
And others.
And yeah, other religions as well. Also welcome.
Oh yeah. It's not just Christmas, it's...
I think we missed Hanukkah. Have we missed Hanukkah? I don't know.
Let's say yes.
I used to live in a really Jewish area, so I'd always know when it's Hanukkah because they'd all be out with the menorahs on the cars and everything, but I don't live there anymore, so I'd actually have to research when it is.
And if there's one thing that the last year has taught us, it's we do no research. Bye!
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cooking with Grief. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to recommend it to a friend. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email cookingwithgrief@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter. That's @cookingwithgrief. If you'd like to hear more episodes, then please subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you've got the time, then it'd be great if you could leave us a review on iTunes. Thank you.
I'm Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okame.
We are the Super Media Bros podcast.
Each week, we give a comedically informative take on movies,
Music,
television,
video games,
and much more.
Put your shades on and listen to all episodes on supermediabrospodcast.com.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Yeah,
Shades on!
we're off.